Hello everyone, welcome to Pratibha Tech. In this video, we will solve the problem of the day question on Geek4Geeks for 8th February 2023. The problem statement for today is count number of free cells. This problem is based on hashing concept and matrix, and this question has been asked in Intuit Interview Question. So let's open the problem statement. So first, let's go through the problem statement clearly. Here it is saying given a matrix size n into n and integer k, initially the matrix contains 0 only. You are given k task and for each task you are given two coordinates r and c, where rc denotes rth row and cth column of the given matrix. You have to perform each task sequentially for the given order. For each task, you have to put 1 in all rth row cells and all cth column cells. After each task, you have to calculate the number of 0 present in the matrix and return it. Okay, so this problem statement simply says that initially you will be given a matrix that will be containing only zeros, and that will be of size n into n. So whatever the task will be assigned to us, so in that particular row and that particular column, we have to make all the elements to 1, from 0 to 1. So let's look at this example first. Here it is saying n is equal to 3 and k is equal to 3. So here we are given k is equal to 3 tasks we need to perform. So for that this input has been given for 2 into this 2 2 2 3 and 3 2. So here it is saying that output is 4 to 1. The explanation they have given is after first operation, all the second row and all the second column will be filled by 1. So the remaining cell with value 0 will be 4. After second operation, all the second row and all the third column, because in this one, if you look at this second input, so here the first input, this corresponds to row and this corresponds to column. So here it is saying that the second column, second row and third column, all the second row and all the third column will be filled by 1. So the remaining cell with value 0 will be 2. So that means the total number of cells with value 0 will be 2. After the third operation, which says row number is 3 and column number is 2. After third operation, cells having value 0 will be 1. So this example is given with this explanation. I'll try to explain this example with some examples which I have solved here diagrammatically. So let's open this one. So here it is trying to say that initially the matrices will be given of size n, that means 3 n into n. So everything will be contained as 0. So here it is saying that after first operation, where it is given 2 and 2. So here it is saying that we have to make all the elements, all the cell of row 2 and column 2 as 1. So here that only we have done in this picture. So I made all the elements of row 2 and column 2 as 1. So after that I need to calculate that how many cells has the value 0. So for that I'm calculating this way. I'll explain this formula as well. So here I am taking the size of the entire matrix, that is n into n, that means n into n, that is 9. From this one, I am first taking that how many rows have been visited in this one. So in this one, here it is saying about row number 2, that means one row has been visited. So if I take that, what all things I need to subtract. So one row I have visited and the size of the number of columns in each row is 3. So if we look at this one, this particular thing here, so it is having 1 into 3, then 1, 2 and 3. So I need to subtract that, and to this I am adding all the columns that has been covered. So how we'll check that? Again, we will take how many columns have been taken into consideration. Here only one column has been taken into consideration, that is column number 2. So one entire column. So here it will have 3 rows. That means for one column, it will three rows will be there. But one row is already covered. That means one row is already taken into consideration when we were calculating 1 into 3. This part. So that's why I'm taking the remaining one. So it is 1 into 3. 3 is that the size of n minus the number of rows that has been considered. So that means if we are considering more number of rows, so that will so all the cells will already be taken into consideration. So we do not have to consider them again. So looking at this one, so we will get here 9. Then with this calculation, 3 into 1 3, and this will become 2. So 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. So this 1 2 3 4, this is that 4 which is saying after here, after first operation, so the remaining cell with value 0 will be 4. Now let's look after the what will happen after second operation. Second operation, it is given as 2 and 3, which I have taken here 2 and 3. So here it is saying again, mark all the cells of row number 2 as 1. See, that we have already done in the previous step. So we cannot mark 1 2 again to 1. So this will be exactly whatever it was in the previous state, this state. So now it is saying that mark all the column number 3. That means mark all the cells of column 3 to 1. So if you're taking of this one, column 3, this one. So here it was, these two elements was 0. This 2, 1 and 2. So here we are making them to 1 again. From 0 to 1. Now applying the same kind of calculation here as well. I'm considering the entire size 9. Then after that we are checking that how many rows have been taken into consideration. Here still the same number, here the row number was same, 2 and 2. So we can say that only one row has been taken into consideration till now. So this we are talking about this row number. So what is the size of that particular row element? So that is again 3, because 3 columns are there. In this one we need to add these 4 elements here. So how we will add that? We will check how many columns have been taken into consideration. So previously we can see the column number was 2. Now this time the column number is 3. So now we can say 2 columns have been taken into consideration. That means size of 2 that has been taken into consideration for calculation. So this is that 2 here, and here again from this one, that how many what is the total size of n. So from that n, I'm again subtracting the row which is already taken into consideration while having calculation of this part. So I'm just subtracting 1 here, because see, if we talk about this element and this element, so this is already counted whenever we were taking consideration this row elements. So so it is so there is no point in taking again when we are calculating that one. So whatever is the row number that has been taken into consideration, just we are subtracting from that. So taking this into this taking this logic itself, we are getting 9 minus 3 plus 4, that means 3, and 2 into 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. So that is 9 minus 2 is equal 9 minus 7 is equal to 2. So this is the same thing here that it says after second operation all the second rows and the third rows will be filled by 1. So the remaining cell with value 0 will be 2. So here it will be this and this. These two are the matrix cells with the value 0. Now for the third operation, it is saying that row number 3 and row number 2, make all the elements of row number 3 and row number 2 as 1. So here we are taking this one, row number 3 in the previous till the previous state. So we have to make this row number 3, this one, as all the elements to 1. So here these two element was already 1, so we will mark this 0 as this 1, and here it is saying that column number 2, for column number 2 it is already all the elements are having the value as 1 instead of 0. So now again applying the same formula again. Now total size is size of the matrix is 3 into 3, that is 9. Here now instead of 1, now we are taking into consideration two rows, because previously for the first step it was 2, and second, for the first and second step the row number was 2, so that was counted as 1 only, because one row was taken into consideration. But this time this row number has changed. Now it has now row number 3 is also taken into consideration. So now we have total 2 rows that has been covered in this one. So that means so now we are marking this 2 into 3, that means 2 rows with 3 element in each rows. So 9 minus inside the bracket this 2 into 3, that is 6. So we are covering this entire part, to this one. We need to add all those column elements though that has not been covered in this one. So this will be these two. How we will get that? Again the same thing, number of columns that has been taken into consideration, that size is 2, and in that one we need to subtract the number of into that one we need to multiply the number of the size of n minus the total number of rows taken into consideration. So here it is 3, that means size is 3. In this one we need to subtract 2 so that we can skip this part. So after that we get 9 minus 6 plus 2, that means this entire part will be 6 and this 2 will be 2. So after that we do 9 minus 6 plus 2 9 minus 8 is equal to 1. So only this row, and that means this element is left as 0. So that only has been mentioned here. After second operation, cells having value 0 will be 1. So here we can see this one. So whatever we have done here, so we can see for reaching to the solution we are just following one pattern in the formula, where we are calculating the n into n, that means the array of size n. So total size is n into n. In that one we are doing a subtraction of total number of rows taken into consideration into size of that row. In that one we are adding total number of columns taken into consideration, and in that one we need to again take into consideration the number of rows after subtracting the number of rows that means already counted, so that just to avoid duplication. So here we can see that if we look at this the input here, so from this one we can easily calculate that how many rows has been taken into consideration at any given point, and how many columns we have considered at any given point. So by looking at just this one, we can just derive to a formula. Here one more thing we need to keep in mind, that see in the first input it was given 2 and 2, and in second input it was given 2 and 3. So here since the column number was repeating, so we have to count it only, sorry, row number was repeating, so we have to count it only once, because when we are considering for the first time, that time only all the zeros were made to 1, so we cannot do the same operation again. So we have to just count it as a one operation, because that is already taken care. So using this one, so just to avoid this duplication, I'll be using the set to store this element. So now let's start coding for this. We will do the same thing whatever we have discussed in this example through this diagram. I'll just try to code that only. So let's start with the coding here. So first we have to return this array, whatever is the output, as 4 to 1. So just let me create one array for that one. We can create that long array, give it the name as result, new long of here we have 3 operations to perform, so we will give the size as 3 only. So after that we can create hash set. This will be the hash set of type integer. We can give that hash set for rows, so we can just give the name as rows is equal to new hash set So similarly we can create another for columns. So rename this variable to columns. Okay, so now we have created two hash set which will store which will store each point. That means after each iteration that how many rows and column has been taken into consideration. So we will just insert into that rows and columns these variables, the respective rows and columns from this input, and we'll just see that how many unique rows and columns are there, and based on that we'll calculate the size and we will apply it in the same formula which we were seeing in the diagram. So for this let's start the for loop, which it will start from 0. Sorry, this is not 0. It will go up to number of operation we need to perform, that is k, then increment the index here. So each time we need to just add see this input will be given this with 2 and 2. So here for rows, first one is the rows and second one is the column. So here it will be array of I, and first element that means in this row first column element will be row and second one will be the column. So that's why I'm passing 0 here. And for columns just add in a similar way array of I, but this time instead of 0 we are giving 1 because the second one is for the column numbers take into consideration. So now once we get to this, so now we have added this one. Also the feature of HashSet is that it will only store unique elements. So if during the second iteration if you're adding 2 again, so it will not be added. So that will be very helpful in our solution, because we have already visited row 2 and we have already made all the zeros to ones, so no need of revisiting the same thing. So now now let's create our result with the same formula which we were discussing in that image. So here we can say that each time for after each iteration we need to see how many zeros are still left. For that one I'm just storing for the ith index. So here it was n into n to this one into subtract rows dot size of into n. Here to this we need to add again columns dot size of, and again to this one I need to multiply n minus rows dot size. I'll just revisit this n into n, that means it was 3 into 3 9. So and number of row size, that means number of rows taken into consideration into n, that means that will cover the entire row with all the elements of that particular row. So here it will be first iteration will be 3, and column size taken into consideration, that will be still 1, and here column size will be 1. Okay, then in this one we'll multiply n minus number of size that has been taken into consideration. So this formula is the same thing whatever we have discussed in this one. This is the same formula we have written there in the just in terms of rows and column sizes. We are actually not going and creating a 2D array, replacing each time, replacing each zeros to ones. Instead, we have derived one formula using this logic, and we are just trying to implement that particular thing only, because we need to solve this in expected time complexity of O of k only. So we cannot do multiple iterations over rows and columns again and again. Okay, so this we are done pretty well. And after that, once this is done, so actually we need to finally result the entire list, entire set. So here I'll just say result, and okay, sorry, return. We need to return this result. Okay, so I'm pretty well done with the coding, so let's try compiling it. Okay, so here we can see we have got our output, because we have applied the same thing whatever we have discussed in the diagram with the correct explanation. So let's try submitting the solution now. Okay, so here we can see we have passed all the test cases, and we have solved this problem successfully. Yeah, so that's all in this video. Please like, comment and share the video, and please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.